Elder statesman Edwin Clark has recommended the setting up of a disciplinary committee to investigate the anti-party activities by some members of the PDP, particularly the roles they played, which led to the failure of the party in the 2023 elections. He identifies the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, as one that seems to be holding or going for the jugular, describing him as the greatest enemy of the PDP. Well, Clark said this in an article titled, "As the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party meets, opposer PDP to be or not to be." He also recommends the dissolution of the existing neck of the party for the alleged anti-party activities and appointment of an acting national chairman in accordance with the party's constitution. Right, let's bring in a PDP Deputy National Publicity Secretary, Abdullahi Ibrahim, for more on these developments within the PDP. Thanks for joining us on News Night.
Thank you, Ngozi, for having me.
Where do we start from? E.K. Clark's position on Wike, because there seems to be a battle for the heart, or the soul, if you like, of the PDP. The chairmanship question, who should be the national leader of the party, and. How do we unpack these things? Help us understand what is at the core of this crisis that just continues unabated in the PDP.
Well, thank you. It's a political organization. People are entitled to their opinion. Don't forget, it's a voluntary, body that everybody would be a member of if they want to, and they are entitled. There's no restriction, no ceiling, no inhibition for you to express what you feel. It's the right thing. But guided by, extant provisions of the law, which is the constitution of the party, we as the NWC are working in line with that provision, which is that once there's a vacuum, like we had with Yoche Ayu's case, now the deputy national chairman from the zone that IU comes from, in this case the North, assumes office. And that's what Ambassador Umar Ilia Damagum has done the last 1 year in question. And if you ask me, we as NWC, and indeed the party, has experienced some level of unity since he, took over in that capacity. We went to that election divided. I've spoken with you guys in this house severally, about the disunity, disharmony, misgivings, and disenchantment that was in the air. The way we confronted the election in 2023 with a divided house, the G5 on the one hand, the misgivings by a lot of parties, critical stakeholders from the respective states of the Federation, and even within us, the rank and file of the NWC. We didn't go to that election in 2025 with our presidential candidate, His Excellency former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, with a united house. And some of us have spoken in-house that the implication of doing so will lead to what we eventually, harvested as the aftermath of the election. So that disunity, and then following the election, even after the loss of the election, you kept having somebody who will wake up from the wrong side of his bed and said he's suspending this person, he's sanctioning this person. That was not necessary, whatever the reasons are, because some of the reasons that led to that dismal performance or disappointing outcome was that disunity. It was at the heart of it. And that was not, helped by the decision that followed, which was that suspension that he kept, deploying members of the party. And so the party was teetering and, headed for the dooms. And then the coming of Ilia Umar Damagum as acting chairman helped to put the house together. And that's what we are facing. So there are people who are not satisfied with that outcome. And they are the same persons who are hell-bent on ensuring that the house is destroyed. And that's where we are today.
It's really a shame, because now you just painted a picture of saying a picture of a fight against a unifier, and now that's the Umar Damagum.
Yes,
but again, they're saying that it looks like he's the troublemaker. You had one of the lawmakers there specifically saying that him getting out of the way will make a seamless
next meeting tomorrow.
Convention, a meeting tomorrow for your party. Now, tell us what you envisage might happen on D-Day, which is less than 24 hours from now.
Well, the aggregate opinion of members of this party is for Umar Ilia Damagum to continue, at least as at this minute that I'm talking with you. And that's because I was a part of the pre-NEC meeting, which held today. You just had the Governors Forum coming out of their own, and also putting a position to that effect. We had the ex-official agreeing with it. We have the chairman of the 36 states of the PDP agreeing with that position. We have the NWC itself, passing a vote of confidence yesterday in him. You have virtually everybody saying that in the circumstance that we have found ourselves, since we're in line with the provision of the law, that from the zone of the vacating national chairman, in this case, Iyoche Ayu, then the deputy takes over. And he has provided what at least will look like unity for this party. He has united and kept this cohesion, which eluded us before we went to election. So for us, it's fine. But ultimately, we will hear, like you said, within the next 24 hours now, the position of the NEC, which has the ultimate powers to decide either way. But certainly, what we are agreeing on and what we are standing on is to ensure that this NWC is supported with Umar Iliya Damagum as the leader. As the steer.
Are there big names from North Central, asking to be so elected national chairman?
We are not going for a convention. We elect national chairman at conventions, not at NEC. Right. So people can express their, and for crying out loud, the Constitution, there is a section that the honorable member was citing, Article 47C, envisaged replacement from the zone, from the region, not the zone. These offices are distributed on the basis of region, not zone. It is a moral ground that when you now come within the region, you now begin to say, oh, these people have taken this, these ones have taken, and then you allocate this here. So everybody will be taken along, and then balance will be, ensured. But it is not to say that it is because the national chairman is from the north and he has vacated the office, another replacement must come from that zone. No. As long as it is within the region, which is the north. And that was why those who were advocating for the presidency to be zoned to the south were right. And I've spoken in their favor. I said, look, if we had the national chairman in that Iyoche Ayu, then it was proper for those people who were advocating for the presidency in the build-up to the convention to have it, because that's the zoning formula that we have maintained as a party from 1999.
Right.
But then again, because Atiku Abubakar has emerged therefrom, we now say that for the interest of the party, we needed to all support him. So we now advocated and pleaded with those who have seemingly lost in that bid to see how they would support the bid, so that for the party, we will salvage Nigeria from this despondency and despair in the land. The hopelessness seemed to have taken Nigeria. And for crying out loud, PDP is not interested in continuing with this. What we need now is a united platform so that we will continue to pursue those things that we have given Nigeria from 1999 to 2015 before the loss of power.
Right. So, what are the plans going forward? Is there a plan to rebrand the PDP? Maybe not necessarily changing the name, but changing the perception. That on one side. Then E.K. Clark, respected elder statesman, says, look, Wike is the problem of the PDP. What will the party do with Wike? And considering again that another group is saying, look, both Wike and Atiku really should, be eased out of the party, more or less. What does the PDP plan to do with both gentlemen?
Now, first of all, I have three questions in one. The first has to do with whether PDP will rebrand. No, PDP will not rebrand. It's the only political party that has remained with the texture, color, and content since 1999, over 25 years going forward. And it's not about to rebrand now for any reason. We are only going to look at the objectives that is driving this NWC and indeed the entire family of the PDP. That is what we're concerned about. And then for Wike, I beg your pardon, and Atiku Abubakar, these are important members of the party. As at the last count, Wike has not denounced his membership of the PDP. And some of us cannot come here and begin to tell you that we don't recognize him as a party. He said he was called for national assignment, and he has gone there to serve. But what we are waiting for him to do is to denounce his membership of the PDP. At any point, I don't remember him saying so. The moment he does that, and then we will...
Well, Ibrahim, what does that say of your party, since your party officially doesn't have the policy or is not in national government with the APC? So with him going to do this national assignment, what does it say of your party?
Well, it is what the NEC of the party would speak about tomorrow. That is why the aggregate members of the NEC will meet tomorrow and advise further. But for us, we have taken decisions that are incisive. There are things that we have not said about many of these persons that we are not calling their names in the party. A lot of persons, not just Wike, have done terrible things that led to our failure, advertently or inadvertently. And those persons, whether I don't want to start telling you whether state governors, whether senators, whether members of the, whether very important people, whether himself the presidential candidate, we all have misgivings with a lot of persons who are critical stakeholders of this party who shouldn't do some of the things they did. So it's not a question of Wike. By the time you say we should sanction Wike alone, it behoves on us to sanction virtually every other person that we believe have done one thing or the other that was not in the best interest of the party going forward. But we will look into all of that. We are not saying that we are going to isolate Wike's as a member. We are going to look into all of that tomorrow at the NEC, and then in the fullness of time we will come up with decisions that would ratify our position.
I think, and hopefully we will be having you again to spatiate break down the outcome of that particular meeting. We'd like to thank you for your time, Abdullahi, Ibrahim. Many thanks as always.
Thank you.